We're back to black bears once again, fresh off our practice hunt the other day with the compound bow, which, by the way, a couple of you guys pointed out in the comments, I was using the 420 grain arrows, which are perfectly effective, but the 600 grain arrows are also ethical. I guess I had them confused with the 700 grain traditional arrows, which are classes 8 to 9. The 600 grain compound arrows are classes 7 to 9, so we can have even more power when it comes to the black bear and the compound bow. But we're going to continue with our grind today, just over 2,300 kills in, and we'll keep on adding to that and see if we can get to test out the compound bow on something a little bigger. Now, this is encouraging. There appears to be 2 male bears at this lake. We're a little bit later than normal, and the reason for that is, after checking the first 4 lakes, it just seemed that there were no bears in any of the zones, and I just decided to kind of go back to the outpost that we started at and run through and go again. And this time, we do have 2 males here, so I don't know what kind of slowed them down, but a 5 and a 6. One thing that I do feel is different, by the way, I've kind of switched to using the Hyperion scope for follow-up shots. It seems to me that I kind of struggle to get the lead the same with the Hyperion scope after so much time using the Argus, so you may see a lot of those follow-up shots where maybe they're necessary, maybe they're not, but really, again, on a level 5, I'd much prefer get 2 shots and maybe waste a little bit of ammo over having to track it for a long time, just because I might think the shot's good and it ends up not being so. But as for our level 6, a gold at 19.4, I tend to consider a gold to start off a pretty good omen. And then just our level 5, which, I mean, that would have been good enough, a liver shot, but again, that clearly is indicative of not quite having the lead just right, even at 150, so that's something to work on. But I do find, and I'm kind of considering generally making the switch to the Hyperion for viewership purposes and trying to record it. The Argus scope is very jittery at times, and I feel like that maybe doesn't look as good, so I may go Hyperion in general. Just so much time using it, I'm not sure. This bear grind may be an opportunity to decide, though. Depending on how long it goes and how much time we spend using it, we might get very used to it. And just going from one lake with encouraging bears to the next, 2 level 7s here. Another kind of tough thing making the switch to the Hyperion, 360 meter shots for both of these, if we can even figure out where they are again. The nice thing is, I think, they're spread out enough that one is not going to hear the shot from the other, and we're able to take our time and get those 2 down. And as per usual, we do have one standing over there where we took the shot from. Now that is approaching 400 meters, and the toughest part always is at that kind of quartering to angle. The bears have a tendency to kind of look back over their shoulder almost, and it has their skull blocking a lot of the vitals. That wouldn't be as big a deal. At a closer range, you can at least see where their head is a little bit better. But at that range, sometimes it's guesswork or just trying to time it right, where they turn their head away and you can get a shot in. It looked like that time we did. But that's been one thing that does often slow down a run. One skull hit and tracking a bear for much longer, it can kind of cut into the very limited window we have to get to every lake. But anyway, 3 bears at this lake, 2 level 7s that should be guaranteed golds, 20.6 for that guy, and just a 20 flat for that one. Right lung at 364, not too bad. And then the level 4, that was 396 meters, and he did just turn his head away where we could get that shot in through there, but you can see he doesn't have to look too much farther to his right to where that bullet's just not going to get to the lungs, and instead it's going to hit him somewhere in the skull. But that time it worked out just fine. It sounds like we're going to be in a pretty good spot here. I actually didn't mean to grab the 308, but we can make do with that. It seems that the bears in this zone, and you can see they sometimes drink over there, but very often either they flee to the right first and then come back left, or they drink further over there and then come over this way. Either way makes for a fairly easy shot there. That is actually how we got the blonde level 7 in the last video. Not really a part of the bow hunting, but that was one of the trophy bears that we had just from the previous week of grinding. And speaking of that, we do not have any trophy bears between the bow hunt and this video to include. Now the plan is pretty much to spend most of the day grinding bears after this, so I'm hoping to maybe have something worked in at the end. But for once we're actually caught up the entire time really on this grind. There's always been more bears to work in. which of course is a good problem to have, but at least now things are going to be a little more aligned chronologically. And if we could get that guy down real quick too, I don't know where he came from, but I think we now have 3 bears at this lake. 2 good shots and 1 probably with not so good shots, that one being 0.1 away from being a gold level 6. And of course the one with the bad shots, it won't matter, although that was a very low level 6. 18.7, I don't even know that I was aware level 6 could be that low score. This has been kind of an odd run in that almost every bear has been a level 6 or 7. I think we had a 5 at the first lake that we visited, and that might be it. Everything else has been in that level 6 or 7 range, which definitely is not exactly common. I feel like most runs, there are a fair few level 4s and 5s. I don't know if that's indicative of anything whatsoever, other than random, kind of decent luck with a bunch of them having shots at being gold. But definitely more encouraging to see things that at least have a shot at being that slightly higher metal. As for this guy, as we're checking one last spot up here as well, he is going to be another 19.1, just missing out on that gold medal. Right lung and liver that first shot. That didn't work out too badly. We do have another male here. There's a level 4. Had to happen eventually. But really, we never get more than 1 bear here unless there's a male. So even before spotting that, I knew one of those had to be a male respawn. And so it'll be no doubt the lowest scoring bear thus far, 16.5. But just another one added to the list, another one counted for the kill total. Just after 1800, we didn't have any bears here, which we often do at the start of the run. So we'll check there before we go to the mule deer outpost. And yet again, it would seem, no black bear here, but we'll go over to the mule deer outpost. That is one place that is, or, never mind. I don't know where the level 3 blonde was hiding. That will work just as well. I guess 2 times in a row. Really getting 2 times in a row. Not only 2 times in a row taking a running shot on a blonde black bear, but getting the running drop shot out of the 300 as well. That's a much better result. I don't know if I saw that as being a pronghorn or an elk. Maybe I didn't actually even see it till we got over here, but I don't know where it came from. There's tracks all through here. How I didn't pick one up and end up finding that out, I don't know. But that is a better result then before we go over to the mule deer outpost. I think rare number 8, definitely the smallest being a level 3, 15.3, and just double lung. Insta-dropped him with the 300, not too bad. And if there was any question as to whether or not we had a lack of bears at the other lakes, the mule deer outpost lake might be making up for that today. There was a level 2 over there. That is the one thing I talked about in the last video. I'd love to get a gold cinnamon as well. We've had a gold blonde and a gold brown fur type black bear by now. We also don't have a single level 1 bear. Nothing in here looks to be all that big, but it has definitely happened before, where a bear, like, I don't know if you can even see, there's one right there. We simply cannot spot that, and that could be something that is a little more interesting. And really the only way to find out is to start shooting bears, and when it runs out we can spot it. So what I've started doing is going with the 308 first, because it's got such a fast fire rate. Most times, because of the way that black bear just kind of stand around, I can normally get 5 hits. Now that does not mean 5 kills. Plenty of times, whether it's the stand-up glitch for black bear or just poor shooting, maybe shooting at a bad angle where the 308 is just not powerful enough, a lot of times ends up being like a flesh hit. But just getting those extra shots off and then using the 300 as kind of the cleanup weapon, you can get away with these running shots being maybe a little bit worse. That would be a decent example way too far back. But it would kill the bear, whereas with the 308 it's going to take a whole lot longer. So that's kind of been the way that I've switched that up. I used to do the opposite, the thinking being having the 308 and the fast shots be better for running bears. But I think this tends to get more bears down in general. There's one still over there on the right. I don't know where that one got to, and they can go so many different directions. It's not entirely consistent. I thought I saw him in there. But like I said, they can just kind of end up veering off a bunch of different ways. Depends on if they run into trees like that one's doing. Sometimes they'll run all the way to the right, sometimes they go up the hill. It is kind of a matter of adapting on the fly to where the bears want to go. And then we get the other ones. Might only be one this time. I don't know how many we killed or missed out on. They'll kind of come down from there nervous, or sometimes they just drink up in that area. Works just as well. We'll just keep on taking stuff out as the shot opportunities present themselves. One thing that has not happened here, by the way, is a random bear that we could not spot being quite large showing up. They all seem to be pretty low. That's tough. Normally they drink in a spot where there's a chance to get a shot in there. That's going to require a 22 shot, and maybe, if it stands up, we can kind of work that shot in between the trees. We'll see if it's going to. Very briefly it did. I think it went to go back down before we got the shot off. Or... now it is absolutely dead. I am going to be very intrigued to see where that shot hit, but I think that is all the bears from here. A lot of times if we run over there, there could be one that's, say, drinking nervous up there where we just can't see. Sometimes they end up running by, we can get shots at them, so getting reloaded is important, but we'll go through, pick everything up, and try to keep count and see how many we got here, because it felt like probably double digits. It really does depend on just how well those first 5 308 shots go, but our first one is an 18.6, another low level 6, then an 18.7 for number 2. Got our third one down here. I thought there would have been 4 or 5 in this area. There's at least 4, this one being number 3, a 20.2 level 7. This one here and another one there. It's either going to be 9 or 10, I think. We got a level 2 there, 14.1. One up here, and this is the other thing too. I like to get here early so that I can see the bears as they run off, but it also certainly helps if you can see them to actually go and claim them. Number 5 there, a Dusky 19.1. 6 there, and there are at least 11 then, because there's 4 laying there, and actually 5 laying there, and the one we got up in the trees. So, I'm pretty sure we have 12 down. Not too bad. Probably the cleanest shooting for 12 bears, or 13 bears, that we've had. I stopped counting because I thought I had it right, and now I'm not sure. There's a 20.6 level 7. It had to be, I think, 13, as another gold at 19.7. This is one that I couldn't see, which is what pushes it over to 13. 17.9 level 5. Just quickly going through here with a 16 scoring level 4. We've got another 308 one, 17.5 level 5, and the last 308 kill from this run, 17.9 level 5 yet again. And then there is that one that probably was the most interesting bear of this particular area. It stood up there, we had that shot through the gap in the trees. It almost has to be a brain or a neck shot. I don't think we made a hard shot. I think it started to drop back down from standing on its hind legs, and I'm pretty sure it just happened to end up hit in something like that, but we shall see super quickly here. I don't even see the blood to let us know, which is interesting. Yeah, it was a brain shot. He started to drop back down, and just perfect timing to drop him. 13 bears, and none got up over the hill. That is normally the problem. As they run around over this way, they'll go up onto the road, and then they can kind of get away, but I mean, you can see there's no tracks down here. I think we got every last one of them. Pretty good deal, and a level 3 blonde to boot, but like I said, I don't even think I'm going to wrap up the video here. I intend to do a fair bit of black bear grinding today, and I'll stay optimistic and hope that we can get another diamond or rare or several to include at the end here. Well, about 220-ish kills and 8-ish hours later, not all of which spent grinding, we finally have our first level 9 of the day, a 21 to 24 out here. I think that's got decent odds. I see a lot of 20 to 23 estimates troll, but 21 to 24 looks pretty decent. Just taking that shot at range. Again, any opportunity to practice with the Hyperion I talked about earlier on in the video, just trying to make that determination if I want to stick with it or if it's just going to be a black bear grind thing. Looked like we made a good shot on that, so we'll go and see. Had the level 3 blonde early on. Let's see if we can add anything to that. Looks to be the black fur type. I think we haven't had a lot of those. And he is 23 on the dot. Our first diamond of the day, not too bad. I want to say the other black fur type we had was 22.8, right on the minimum. So that is an improvement, good to see. I like to see the seemingly less common fur types. Dusky, we've had maybe 8 diamond Duskies, 2 black fur type and 1 dark or something like that, but pretty cool, nice to finally get something. I was starting to wonder, after talking about being optimistic and thinking we had pretty good odds of finding something with the planned amount of grinding for the day, there wasn't a whole lot going on, but finally we get to get a diamond. Now, before we go back to the trophy lodge, I do have one last level 9 to include in this video, and it was from this very last spot on the last run of the day. I happened to spot it on my way into the tripod, and then I couldn't figure out where it went. I knew it must have gone into the reeds somewhere, and I decided I wasn't going to record live audio. I would just basically focus on trying to make a running shot, rather than significantly delay the process and maybe let a bunch of bears get away in trying to get the level 9. And fortunately, when it finally came out, we were able to make the shot. And what I found so interesting is when we went up to claim him, not only was he another dusky fur type, but that shot just barely clipped the bottom of the right lung. I was zeroed for 75 meters, that shot's about 110, so I guess it makes sense, but just about messed up what would have been a 23.1 diamond. Usually the diamonds tend to be in that area, right around low 23 for most of the ones we had, so it wouldn't have been a huge loss, but that is diamond number 12, and what a bizarre way to get it on this grind. But 2 diamonds that are rare to throw in the trophy lodge. We'll jump back real quick and do that and take a look at them. And I just can't make this stuff up. We're gonna go ahead and place the last diamond here. Diamond number 12, 23.12. Just perfectly fitting for everything that just went down. But we're heading down another hallway here with all of our trophy bears. We have the 2 diamonds from today, 23.12, 23.02, and the really small level 3 blonde from earlier on in the hunt. But 3 more trophy bears, 12 diamonds now, so hopefully that's going to be the magic number to end up with a great one. But pretty cool. I'm glad we made that shot. That would have been real unfortunate if we ended up messing it up, but that is one thing. We have certainly gotten a lot of progress in making those running / trotting shots as those bears are leaving that mule deer outpost lake. There are a ton of them in there pretty much every time, and we do that on a pretty regular basis, so I felt comfortable doing it, especially kind of concentrating without the need for live commentary and trying to talk about what's going on as I was making that shot. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.